Emergency powers regarding the mandatory evacuation order.
But the word mandatory has now been struck.
Okay.
So the word mandatory has now been struck, and it now says that the association, unless prohibited by the declaration, the board, in response to damage or injury caused by an anticipated or anticipated in connection with an emergency, as defined by the statute, may exercise the following powers: require the evacuation of the condo property in the event of an evacuation order in the locale. It's not mandatory anymore. It just says, hey, you guys should evacuate. And in response to that, the board can then say, well, while it's not mandatory, it's now mandatory for us.
I don't know if you were involved in a couple of ours from before, but we were trying to get opinions before some of the hurricanes. For those of you who may not know, we had a very, very bad situation that happened in a prior hurricane that resulted in a death. And so we've been super sensitive about trying to force evacuations of people who do not want to evacuate. And so the last few hurricanes, we've been really...
Let me read the last half of this provision. If a unit owner or other occupant of a condo fails or refuses to evacuate, for which the condo property for which the board has required evacuation, the association is immune from liability or injury to persons or property arising from such failure or refusal. So think about not just people, that's the most normal thing that we think about when we say evacuation, but what about your stuff? Well, it now says that if mandatory to the association evacuation, then you will be immune from liability or injury.
Right.
So important.
Fantastic.